Hi, it's been a while since I've done one of these pick-a-pile readings, so I feel really eager to carry this out because I missed it, and I love that I'm doing it with the full intention of this evening. I know I say it often, but for this specific pick-a-pile reading, I can feel that I'm doing it from a very sincere place of enjoyment, so I feel happy. This is actually a slither of like an expression of joy, of funness, of being alive during this very difficult 2025 September eclipse season. While this is an eclipse reading, please remember that I do every single one of my readings with the intention of being timeless. So you may not be watching this in 2025 at all, in which case I hope that whenever in time this live stream, this video finds you, I hope that you're well. The overarching energy that I received while shuffling the deck for this pick-a-pile was the Hierophant. And I believe that starts off the general energy of a validation from the universe to say that regardless of when you're watching this, yes, you're not just going crazy, shit's been hard. And it is for the sake of refining some part of you that is deeply connected with your truth. So under all of this really intense pressure that you may be experiencing in your life, it's like the layers that are fake to you, that don't resonate with you, that have done their time in your life, in your body, are being chipped away so that the truth of you can really shine. And that's me saying it in the least cheesiest way possible. I know it sounds cheesy saying it, especially hearing it during a time when things are very chaotic. But yeah, when the Hierophant falls out for me, I also always remember ancestral connection, communication. They are the first counsel, the first team of counsel that I turn to when I am feeling extremely chaotically out of control of my life and my perceptions, when I'm feeling vulnerable or powerless or very, very afraid, which again, may be a time that you're facing regardless of the circumstances. I invite you to take this moment to take a grounding pause. Try to streamline your awareness so that it's just you, this moment, and the sounds around you, the sound of my voice. We need to take a lot of time to breathe right now to shed or at least, shed the unwanted debris, but also to really center. Again, you are not crazy. This has been a very difficult time. If this has found you in the middle of time, like I said, far from 2025, then I trust that things align for that way that you're going through a stressful time right now. And if you're not, then that's wonderful. So each pile is numbered 1 to 3. Hopefully in the stillness, you have centered yourself enough to be able to choose through discernment which pile is for you. Hopefully you feel comfortable in your choice. Now we can play. With these pick-a-pile readings, I also feel called to mention the fact that there may be more than one pile from this reading that relates to you. You may pick pile 1 now, end up picking pile 2 the next week. Each will have a different message and will reach you at the right time. I'm now doing pile 1. Pile 1. You have the Queen of Discs, pile 1, the 10 of Rods, and the 6 of Cups. Immediately, I'm getting that you're an earth sign, likely a Capricorn. Maybe even an Aquarius, something Saturnian ruled, where you're generally very used to feeling in control and responsible. You may come from a past where you were given a sense of responsibility early, so that come this eclipse, that specific early childhood frequency revisits you and feels like something that you are tired of. Feels like you've really reached your edge of being responsible, and you're in a phase, or this eclipse is triggering feelings of wanting to be taken care of, possibly wanting to go back in time and really missing that childhood sense of responsibility. I'm really getting the term responsibility here. It's a very big weighing thing on you. It may also be something that you are finding in this eclipse season you're learning how to be okay with, in which case you are actually at peace, which is, again, wonderful. I think either way, either of these things, both are bringing a focal point of a center of awareness of where it is that you would like to feel more ease. You would like to practice more present moment awareness. I'm getting the sense that gratitude will work for you. It's really done wonders for me. The very basic action of placing your hand on your heart and saying out loud things that you're grateful for has really brought me to presence in a very magical way. That may be something that you can try just to help you relieve the thing that's like heavy on your shoulders right now. Yeah, I feel for you, largely because I understand how this frequency feels like a burden. But I hope you can also understand how the frequency of like knowing how to be responsible, of maybe being the most responsible person in your community, where people who you perceived as people you should rely on or look up to are now relying on and looking up to you. The crown is heavy, but you're wearing a crown. And from my point of view, this is something that has this specific skill of being responsible has been something very regal to me. Very Queen of Discs, King of Discs, even the Knight of Discs or Knight of Pentacles. It's very regal. Everybody in these figures has a good posture. The frequency of victimhood doesn't sit well with you in general, which is very impressive. Like I said, something I'm trying to learn. So, I want to say congratulations, but it doesn't feel like something that you would be feeling right now. Because like I said, you're probably exhausted. Your universe definitely acknowledges you for that. I'm getting the sense that you are really, I want to say that I hope that you can learn how to rely on God, make God your parent, but it feels like that's something you're learning to do right now. And if you haven't started, then I think that realization will come soon after you watch this. And yeah, just a real yearning for a sense of home and a sense of being able to put your feet up on the couch feels like that's something you really want right now. But again, I'm getting that the thing that can help with these emotions, because they seem to come in tides and they make you feel like you're not in control when you actually very much are. The thing that can help you with those tides and those waves are moments of gratitude. I think gratitude is a great practice for someone like you, who I'm getting the sense is an overthinker or you're extremely practical. And in order to be practical, you have to be a certain level of like pedantic, overthinking, ticking all the boxes, making sure, that is a very stressful, tense way of being. I'm immediately receiving that. I hope that you can book yourself a spa. I hope that you're not somebody who works really, really hard, earns a lot of money, and then neglects to spend on themselves. Please don't do that. You are the first person that you should be overspending on, just by the way. I feel called to touch on the Six of Cups really quickly. Cherished memories, childhood ideals returning in the present, coming to a crossroads, accepting that some ideal aspect of life is over, letting go of all the emotional problems and difficulties in the past, and turning towards the future. Gratitude for the present purity of vision. I'm getting the sense that you're really trying to build a home for yourself, or for the part of you that you maybe had to sacrifice at a time in your life for the name of this responsibility that you are very serious about holding. I'm now getting the sense that you should ask for help. You deserve to take a break. I'm also getting the possibility that you're just extending on that previous thing I'd mentioned, where you're someone who works very hard, but you don't spend on yourself. You may also be somebody who just doesn't have, you don't get time to live in your house. Feels like you're one of the people who are paying rent for nothing. Or you feel that way, and it's like, well, if I'm going to be outside of my house most of the time. I actually saw a very funny tweet of somebody genuinely offering someone else to come live in their apartment since they barely live in their apartment. So it feels like you're one of those people. Revisiting the suggestion to take a break, take leave. Even if you're out of leave days, don't worry about money right now. It feels like you're always worrying about something. It's like, this eclipse season, it feels like, or the season that you're in general, it feels like it's poking at those spots intentionally so that you can relax a little. Let's see what your fourth card has to say. Ooh, interesting. Okay, so you got the Emperor in reverse, and then you got the Ten of Cups and the Nine of Discs as follow-up cards, with the Chariot, the Four of Rods, the House of the Home. All right, interesting. It seems as though I'm likely reading for a woman or a feminine energy that has felt very out of touch with their feminine energy. You feel this eclipse season is poking at the fact that you feel out of touch with your... What? I'm getting the nurture aspect missing. And you're at a stage in your life where an actual relationship would be something. An actual relationship would be something that could soften you. Or at the very least, someone you can trust. Because it feels like also part of this burdening is the fact that you just haven't been able... Why you work so hard to be reliable is because you haven't been able to rely on other people. You're not one to do that. You were taught early that you probably shouldn't rely on anyone else but yourself. Now, with the Emperor in reverse, it feels as though what you probably need to be facing during this eclipse season is the fact that it's possible that you may have hardened. Yeah, you may have hardened way beyond the point that you needed to, and you're so hard that there's no nurture, there's no space for nurture to spill through, Let me read the interpretation of the Emperor in reverse. This is what I feel is the energy that you might be in right now that needs to be released. So if you can do like an actual ritual, because I can feel the frequency of this and it feels like something very difficult to just be aware of and decide that you're over. You have to go through a process to soften up to life and to be able to receive the nurture, the enjoyment of life, companionship, partnership, the love, We have to crack those walls first. And that's what this eclipse is doing to many of us in general. It's cracking a lot of walls. This card in reverse, the Emperor, speaks of tyranny, absolutism, ignorance masquerading as authority, terror of losing face, avoidance of the truth or lying outright to gain an advantage, abuse of authority or just plain abuse, short-term mentality, playing politics, a closed mind, flawed judgment, pettiness, stubbornness. The sentence, terror of losing face, jumped out to me because of the Queen of Discs and how beautiful she is. And generally, she is the person who keeps the face. She doesn't like to lose control. And that may be very much you. And if you're so tight and holding on to the control, where in that tightness can someone fit, nuzzle up to you, try to hold you? If you're doing this the whole time and you're so tight about keeping control and making sure everything's standing afloat, like you're this one person holding up 10 beams, what makes you think that you can sustain holding up 10 beams by yourself? Sustain this position, be all tight, I'm getting the sense that you have to try to be soft, try to practice softness in even the simplest ways of taking a rose petal bath, drinking rose tea, wearing pink. It's a very subtle thing, but something like that could really help, just to really tap into the loosening of it. You don't have to even tap fully into your feminine side, but there is just too much man going on inside of you, too much constrictness, rigidness. Things have to go this way. Try having a yes day. That one was random. Try having a yes week, maybe not enough goes on in the day, but try having a yes week where you say yes to everything and be open-minded. Something needs to crack you open so that this can come, and this can come, and this can come, and this can come. You received one after the other, positive card after this card that speaks of rigidness, stubbornness, assertiveness, absolutism, my way or the highway. I also touched on this frequency of how, this was a few weeks ago though, how it's not possible for the universe to grant you your wishes if it is that you are going to insist on a specific way that the wishes look like. You're adding more time to your manifestation by having all of these checkpoints. It needs to look this way. By imagining your future partner, he needs to have this and this and this and this and that and that and that and that specifically and no other thing. Especially if you're holding all of your desires from a place of, I want X because Y hurt me and put me in a place of trauma and those, the constriction in all of areas of your life that has to stop. You need to relax more. You need to. I recommend trying cacao as well. This is something you can get at like a Food Lovers or something. Very good for the heart space, very good for my heart space. Definitely helped me deal with all of this shit that I've held in me from the father wounds. That may be something that you know as well. Not just father wound, but we're masculines. You don't have a visible performance. You don't understand what the frequency is of a reliable masculine from close up. You know it from over there, through your friends, through people you've met along the journey of your life, but you don't know it intimately through family, partnership, even close friendship. But anyway, all of it is coming to a peaking point after this eclipse. I'm generally feeling that for the whole lot of us, by the time September is over, everything, the dust will settle, everything will be so clear that it will be miraculous. We'll be really in the magical place of living our dreams, truths, manifestations. It's going to feel good. It's going to feel good. You have a beautiful story following you, a really stunning one. Oh my gosh, I'm pulling more cards. Love it. Okay, yeah, this is exciting. This is very exciting, although it doesn't feel it. And for that, all I can say is just give it time. All is well. Wait your process out, and you don't even have to wait that long. Make sure you cry. That is extremely necessary. Tapping into your emotions, breaking down a few times, have a little mincy bee. And work on that inner voice. Also a random one. Also something I identify with deeply. The inner voice can be a very we can be very cruel friends to our own selves and cruel parents to our own inner child. It all takes time. Good luck with everything, and mostly good luck for good luck for when you receive your blessings, because it's going to be so fantastic that I get the sense that maybe a part of you won't believe it when it happens, and it's going to happen sooner than you think. Thank you for watching, and I send you off with love. I'm now doing pile 2. Pile 2. So pile 2, you received the 9 of Rods, the Death card, and the 3 of Cups. Generally, with the 2 cards that first came out, the Death card and the 9 of Rods, this is a Scorpio placement's nightmare. So I'm immediately getting the possibility that you are a Scorpio. Scorpio placement, 8th house, Plutonian influence, maybe Pluto in the 1st house. Or 12th house placements, that's also something I'm feeling into. Possibly Aquarius as well, because Aquariuses are going to be the main character for a bit. I'm getting the sense that you are possibly somebody who has been, you're not very good at being like open or intimate with people that you love. You may be one of those people who, who like don't share information about yourself. You just don't do it. Yeah, I relate to that. It's not even that you don't want to share with other people. It's just not something that's like programmed in you. You don't really come from like an intimate household or an intimate background. You're used to being isolated, or you are going through a period of isolation right now that's getting you really used to that's getting you used to the intensity of your emotions and of who you are as a person. I'm getting the sense that you're learning a lot about yourself right now. You're going through a very intense, I have to say, ego death. These cards definitely imply that on its own. However, to be more specific, I'm getting a sense that you're getting like, you are arriving to very deep realizations about your experience with intimacy and love and loving expression. It may have been a while since you've been in a romantic relationship. Long enough for you to at least need to buckle down and focus on the intimacy that's available to you right now and build on that. Again, feels like something that you're not very used to doing. A random one, this may all be building up from a past of having a lot of friendship betrayals. And that obviously tugs the thing in you of being able to be vulnerable with people because you just don't trust anyone. That may be something that this eclipse season is teaching you, is bringing you to learn how to trust people. Because that lack of trust in other people is indicative of how you feel about life in general. It's a mirror, I believe, of how, in the same way you don't trust people, you probably don't trust all of your life. Another random one, you may be someone who deals with suicidal ideations, or this may have been a season of those for you, and you are debating whether or not to reach out to a friend about it, or you're wondering how to do it. Feels like this emotion of like intensity and realizations and feeling very small in comparison to a very big, unknown, scary thing outside of you. This feeling is very fresh for you. You may be going through a kind of Plutonian 12th house perfection, 8th house perfection type thing. I'm getting directly, though, that the solution for any of this would be to just reach out to someone. And just try it. Don't be scared. Don't be afraid. Release the fear of like being intimate with others, specifically with your friends or with people you want to be friends with, and just do it. It feels like there's a lesson in there that needs you. You need to face it. Doesn't matter how scared you are about like bringing people into your world or about trusting people. You have to learn how to do it in order to make it out of this eclipse alive. Otherwise, it's just going to feel like too much, and it's going to feel like too much in a way. Like it's like this eclipse is pushing you on purpose towards this point of group activity, of group interaction, trusting in people, building a community, even of people who identify with this. It just feels like you've been very alone, and it's time to not be alone by making some friends directly. Like make some friends, rekindle friendships, place an assignment for yourself to call a friend every day, even if it's just for 5 minutes, even if it's just to say, hey, did you see the moon today? Okay, cool, yeah, awesome, bye. Or a phone call that I once saw someone make that really changed my world forever, and I don't understand why it was so impactful, maybe because of the simplicity of it. And how I identify with this reading entirely. I don't come from a particularly intimate background, and I am a Scorpio, tropical Scorpio stellium. So I first experienced the scenario where someone called a friend of mine, and the call was really lasted for like 3 minutes, and it was like, yo, dude, what was that? What are the ingredients of that chicken that your mom cooks? And he was like, oh man, I'll send it to you now. Okay, cool, bye. That's it. And they still communicate to this day, like every day. So it's just that kind of intimacy that maybe you're missing in your life that needs to be welcomed, but it has to be cultivated by you. It's a very personal reading. That's something I need to learn myself. When you don't know how to trust people, it's very, very difficult, very underrated as well. Very difficult to build that foundation yourself, all by yourself. Because it has to. It starts and ends with you just learning how to trust people. If people betray you, whatever, man. You're off my list. I'm never talking to you again. And move on. It's also people aren't perfect. You know this. You know you're not perfect. I'm sure you know all of that by now. Oh, I love this card for how it strips you naked. It leaves you bare, by the skeleton, burning in a fire. There's nothing left. There's nothing left but you and your naked body and your arms up. You and your flesh, you and you, Congratulations as well on the shadow work that you're doing. This is very difficult. It's very sensitive. It's by a very soft place. I really understand this. Let's see what your fourth card has to say. Nice. Yes, congratulations indeed. You got this 3 of Swords in reverse. Let me touch on that. You did a lot of really brilliant work processing all of this emotional upheaval. And you really don't have to do it alone anymore, and you don't have to, it can happen. The sharing of intimacy can happen in very surprising ways, but you have to open yourself to the possibility that it feels just as good as the sex kind, or the super naked kind. Like, you don't always have to. There are so many ways to connect with people and be intimate with them, but you have to open up to it. You have to proceed with this death. You died, you're new, you're changed, you're so different. In fact, I'm receiving right now, though, that rather than you being different, you're like a blank canvas right now. All of this intensity, yes, but you can locate, you've really worked to locate a frequency of peace. You're aware of it. Even if you may not feel it now, you're aware of it, which is brilliant. That's the blank canvas that you can build on. All the while, walking with what you've learned. You've learned a lot. You're completely new. Even if it may not look it and you don't have actual material corroboration, like maybe physically nothing has changed about you, but you know you're different. You're very different. Really, congratulations. This card in reverse speaks of allowing the flow of emotion to take over or the issues to fall away, seeing the positive side of a difficult problem, letting the sun shine through. Try to also make a plan to go out very urgent. It can be anywhere, and it needs to be with people you feel safe with. If you have long-term friendships, call them up. They're very important for this period of like reintegrating you into being with other people. You need a gentle reintegration. You have definitely been through the ringer. You've been working on some shit. You may even be in a place where you don't really, because the shit was just so shitty that you don't actually know. There are no words for this kind of process. There are no words for this. There's real depression, mental anguish, crazy, crazy shit. Isolating stuff, the hermit almost. But as I'm saying, you're out of it. Make plans with friends. Make plans to go drink. Dance. Play your favorite song and groove it up by yourself in your room, in your own space. Send that friendship DM. If you got a friendship crush on someone, just send that DM. Just do it. Don't even think. Just do it. I mean, thank God for social media, right? So you can always comment on the post, like the story, get interactive. I'm really getting the sense that there's somebody who you've been interested in like getting to know, but there hasn't been like a full, like romantic attraction. So it kind of confuses you. This is a very random channeling. Either way, there's someone you want to get to know, be friends with, and you should message them. You should just reach out. Don't think twice about it. Otherwise, generally, I think this applies. Make a plan to go out. This feels mandatory. This feels important, very important. You need a night out. And then you have the Knight of Rods, and then you have the One of Cups as a follow-up. Lovely cards that follow. Again, really, you've done a lot of really brilliant work to try to stay hopeful and to see the beauty in things. Be grateful. You've done a lot of spiritual work. And now you passed the first module. Now you can enjoy, you can enjoy the holiday. This is a holiday invitation, which I think will come shortly after the eclipse, or maybe about a week or two after you watch this reading. I'm only putting this timing on it because that's the timing of the eclipse that's happening right now. So I'm just following with that. Otherwise, I don't think it'll happen long after. I think you've had enough. I think you've had enough. And you're ready for some joy, dancing, expressions of just connection. And let me actually read the Three of Cups before moving on. Friendship, loving support from friends, harmony, a pledge of lasting friendship, celebration, joy, sharing experiences, can sometimes indicate a three-way relationship. Networking that has an important result either in new friendships or new ideas. Dance. Everything you deserve after this that you just, everything you deserve. So it's coming, and I hope that you can enjoy it when it does arrive and materialize officially into your life. And I hope that you can feel safe in your body. You've done enough work. You are acceptable as you are, always forgiven, always seen by the Most High and your angels who are always with you. You're very powerful. You've done a lot of really brilliant work, so now you can enjoy it. Enjoy it. Okay, I'm moving on now to pile 3. Pile 3. You have the Seven of Discs, the Moon, and the King of Swords. So the pause that I just took there to take in the cards of your reading, pile 3, is exactly the kind of pause that I think you need to be taking right now. I'm getting the sense that there is something very specific. There's something that you think you know. Or this eclipse has gotten you to form, or this period of time that you're going through in your life has gotten you to form a very specific opinion about a situation or about a person. And with these cards, especially with these two, Seven of Discs and the Moon, there's a very important piece of truth that needs to reveal itself either towards the end of this eclipse season, so either in the next 2 weeks, by the end of the next 2 weeks, or by the beginning of it, maybe shortly after. Again, I'm only saying this, I said this in the previous piles reading, I'm only saying this timing. I don't usually do this, but I'm putting the time gap there, the time interval there, because this is an eclipse reading, and the eclipse will only last for about 2 weeks from this reading, maybe even 3 because of its shadow period. But anyway, the main point is, you need to watch what you are so convinced about. I don't know what it is, though. I'm not entirely sure, and I don't feel like I want to get into detail about it. There's something you are so sure about. There's a decision that you recently made about someone or some situation in your life that brought you a lot of emotional upheaval, and possibly took away your ability to focus, may have linked to the brain fog. Although it is very eclipse coded, it feels like there's something that took your attention away and needed you to lock in, and you told yourself, nah, this is the truth and this is how I'm going to proceed. And it wasn't the truth. And even if that is something that you don't relate to, there's truth on the horizon coming to you that needs you to be still. Don't make any crazy decisions yet. This feels like a very Mercury retrograde type season for you right now. And you need to, I'm not so much getting the sense that you need to move slow, but you need to move cautiously. Pay more attention. You don't know everything yet. You don't have the full vibe yet. In my capacity, this reading feels very personal because in my capacity, there is a situation that I made a very solid decision on. There's a way, there's, oh my God, I've jumped to conclusions, and I'm aware that I've done this. I've jumped to conclusions about the way that someone feels about me. And I've made a solid decision based on that conclusion. And with these cards, the lesson is that my decision is baseless. And I know that. And while, again, I feel to acknowledge that while it is that you are a very pragmatic, logical person, you're very intelligent, or you may be dealing with a situation that requires that kind of brain work from you. It's a very mercurial situation that probably involves communication. Just the transferal of energy in that way, communicating, sharing thoughts, having a conversation. There's a conversation incoming that holds a lot of truth that is going to change the way, it's going to change the way you feel. It's going to change the way you feel, and it's going to change your decision. Yeah, you're walking on a very specific path right now, or you've made a very specific decision about something, and you're walking down this journey. Something is going to reveal itself, maybe behind a tree. Maybe behind a tree, or behind the clouds in the sky, or behind the literal moon. So maybe wait a moon phase. This truth might come by then. That is going to change the path you've chosen. You might want to change you might want to take a different path, take on a different way of behaving, have different thoughts about it, so that it's going to change the trajectory that you're moving on. It's going to be highly effective, this truth that comes. So I suggest you be patient. It's very exciting. I love stuff like this. My Scorpio, the Scorpio in me lives for this kind of stuff because it's very indicative of the fact that we are not in control. No matter how much we think we are very minuscule. We are very important, obviously, but we're very minuscule in accordance to the bigger plan. And there is a bigger plan. There's a big plan here. And you think you're privy to the big plan, but you're not. Please check your intentions. This decision that you've recently made, or the way that you're thinking right now, may be based on something that is too logical and it feels like part of your heart wants to come into the picture, please tap into your, not just your intuition, but your feelings, the way that you feel. Feels like that part of you is going to be affected during this time and will come up with very valuable information about who you are and about what you need to heal. Because there's always that, right? We're always healing. You may also be, the situation that you're facing may also have to do with somebody who's very logical. And their logic is like a blockage in order to fully understand the way that they feel. Like, you don't understand how someone actually feels about you. And you're making a full assumption about the feelings, and there's some stuff that you don't know about them because they're such a logical person. You may be dealing with someone who's an Aquarius, or you're an Aquarius placement. Likely someone who's an Aquarius, though, is very Saturnian ruled and just doesn't really tap into their feelings that much. In which case, yeah, it's about to be necessary, needing to tap into your emotions. A little bit uncomfortable for all involved because of how unclear everything seems. Please again remember to check in with your intentions. Make sure everything you're doing is rooted in love and hope for the better, and not for the just in case, what if this happens vibe. And if it is, then pay attention, because there's some clues about how you can heal through that. But it feels very personal, and it feels like you'll find it out by yourself when the timing is right. Let's pull your fourth card and see what comes up. Okay. So I was shuffling earlier. I don't know if you caught that. I was shuffling. Many cards tried to fall out. One of the cards that caught my attention, the main card actually that caught my attention, was Temperance. And I could feel the minute I started shuffling again that this is a card that's going to revisit, which is to say that you really do have to wait. There is definitely something that you are trying, or that there's something that is either in your community or something you yourself are trying to rush through the sense of logic, through the like pragmatic brain exercises, and that is not going to work for this. Definitely not. However, don't let all of that side of you go. It's still useful to be as pragmatic as you are. And if I say so myself, it's very attractive. I love King of Swords energy. King of Swords is literally my type. But something about that needs to be parked, and you need to just take a beat. Just wait out. Just be patient with this process. You also receive the Page of Cups in reverse, which I think addresses the wounds that need to be revealed, or I think has to do with the truth that is due to be revealed with this moon cycle. This card in reverse speaks of a siren call into a psychic neverland, fear of vulnerability or failure leading to withdrawal, stultification, failure, blocked sexuality causing eating disorders and other problems, ferocious hidden anger and denial, emotional immaturity. I mentioned earlier that it may have to do with some inner part of you. However, I think it actually has to do, I'm feeling into the possibility that this is it feels like there's an external situation that involves someone. You've made a decision about it, likely because this person behaved in a emotionally immature way. There may be a situation you're dealing with that involves a level of emotional immaturity, either from you or the person you're dealing with. It may not be making any sense to you because of what a logical person you're used to being, or because of what a logical person you're used to seeing of the person you're dealing with. The general frequency is there's a solid path of, there has been a very, usual, often, a path that's happened over and over again. The cycle is logic. Everybody's used to the logic part. Now there's weird emotional projections, weird emotional behavior. Again, this may even be something you're feeling internally, where you're feeling so emotionally unstable as someone who's used to being logical. You don't know the whole truth of it yet. You don't know where the emotional maturity, the pain, all of it is coming from. A siren call into a psychic neverland. We're definitely dealing with an individual, either you or someone you're dealing with, who is in between worlds right now. So intensely that they're behaving in strange ways. This feels like a very specific message that's kind of reared off, but it feels important for me to say that either way, you don't know everything. You don't know everything about what's going on. I'm sorry for the situation if it is that you relate to this, to either this emotion inside of you or dealing with someone who is in this state of being emotionally mature, someone you care about, or someone who you're really forced to have to understand their point of view from. It just feels like a very exhausting frequency in general, or something really exhausting to deal with, especially when you don't understand the person. Because it feels like there's also that, just a very, very confusing lack of understanding. There's a lack of clarity. Really confusing. I'm getting that. Just a very confusing energy. The truth will be revealed. All will be revealed. And trust that whoever it is that you're dealing with, even if it's with your own self, you're going through, there's a spiritual process happening that nobody in the room is used to, that you're going to have to surrender to and trust is happening. Trust it. Trust the process. And trust the emotions, very importantly. We have to try to turn this card right face up, which speaks of someone who is gifted. You may or may not be someone who's gifted or is dealing with someone who is spiritually gifted in that way. Try to keep still. Try not to make any rash decisions during this time, whether or not you relate to what I've just said. If you're watching this far, Pile 3, please make sure that you are not moving too fast, jumping too fast to conclusions. Please try to do things that can put your brain at ease. Yoga. This card also speaks of working with the body, so it may be that you need to get into that. Try Tai Chi, Qigong, breath work, something to put you in your body so that you can get a real clear sense, not just a separation, no longer separation from the head and the heart, but working with both so that you can be in clear connection with your body's messages and your intuition, because like that is what is being brought to your attention right now. I also feel called for you to pay attention to your dreams. Try not to, they may not make any logical sense. They may not make sense of it, but I get the sense that just being aware of the symbols is useful for me sometimes, because then I'll be out and then I will randomly see the symbol out, and then I'll be able to pay attention to what's happening in the moment as I'm seeing the symbols. It takes a level of awareness that you are very clearly honing in general in your life, which is great. I think that the eclipse season, it does that. So if that's something that you can relate to, then well done, you're using the eclipse season well. I think we all are either way, actually. And just wait it out. There's information, really important information that is going to change the trajectory of a lot of things in your life. And you can't rush the way that information comes in. It's going to come in at the perfect time. And it's going to be very helpful for you to make decisions and look to the future. Which holds a very interesting story. You are definitely someone who's gifted. I'm pulling a bunch of other cards follow up. They're too far for me to go through it, but you're gifted and you are being honed. You're being molded. Yeah, you're being molded for the role that you will have to play in your life in general, in your community, as a gifted person, as someone in between worlds. Now it's turning into you as being the person who's possibly just feeling very emotionally unstable right now. I definitely am. I'm definitely going through a period of emotional maturity. I'm projecting, I'm doing all the things. And these days I've been trying to just accept it of myself at the very least, since I can feel that I can't really do much. Have to wait. Have to work with the body. Have to try to be present in my body and just let whatever's happening on the horizon pass, because there's no telling what that is. We can't tell, and we can't make moves without the full truth. which we will receive absolutely, absolutely in due time. You can trust that. This also feels like information that might be a little bit heavy in the sense that, like, this is not something you want to rush. You need to prepare to receive this. I'm just not entirely sure what it may be about. And it's not something you need to fear. Absolutely not. It's just something that will touch your heart. Like, you'll feel it when you receive the information. And it feels like you'll also receive it in a way where you'll know. You know, you'll be like, oh, this is it. This is what I needed to prepare for. Yeah. I really hope you can find stillness in this, because it feels very chaotic. In general, we're all going through some kind of emotional, chaotic upheaval. You're not alone. And everything will be perfectly fine and as it should be. You're definitely, as a gifted person, working with angels, your spirits, your ancestors. So if anything else, you can trust them and just watch it all work out. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for watching this reading. Thank you for trusting me. And good luck with everything. And that is it for this live stream. If you do end up watching this, thank you. This part of the live stream, thank you for tuning in. I really, really love doing pick-up piles. I wonder why I do it so little. I hope this was helpful in whatever way. And please know that whatever happens, regardless of the pile that you picked, we are going through a very spiritually intense time, so that it's highly unlikely that we're going to make decisions that we're not supposed to. Lots of fated events are going to be happening. So we are only as in control as our perceptions, so to speak. So you don't have to worry too much about like making the wrong decision or something wrong working out. Just trust everything happening right now is meant to be happening. And from that place, let go, just let go. All is well.